another day. And this thing, this experience, feel a little better. Nose is clearing out, body ache's gone. Whew, that was rough. Whatever I had. So I did a quick read. I'm reading this book, The Daily Laws, by Robert Greene. If you don't know who Robert Greene is, get all his books and read them over and over and over again. I started out with the 48 Laws of Power. I discovered that book when I was living out of a car. I used to go to the library and grab a book. Back in those days, I learned to live off of $20 a day. Literally. I was enough to put a small amount of gas in my car. My girlfriend's car was my car. We lived off of $20 a day. 2 people. That's why when I look at how people are living life, you know, especially media and celebrity, they all encourage the, I hate using the term, the baller lifestyle. Living beyond your means, leasing cars you can't buy, just so you can look a certain way. Avoid all that. But yeah, Robert Greene, came across a book in the library. The spine said the 48 Laws of Power. I was like, ooh, that sounds interesting. Let's grab that. I read that book. I was like, man, I gotta read all this guy's stuff. So I read all his books. I have all his books. I bought all his books. So today's book that I read every day is called The Daily Laws. It's it's a little piece of thoughtful information for you to ponder for the day. 366 of them in this one book. So I'm going through it this year, one day at a time. And today's law was about the accumulation of skills. You have to be accumulating more. Oh, and this coincides with a thought I woke up with. Visualize a cup full of water. That cup is full. In order to put more water in it, you must first empty that cup. Think of your mind in that regard. Never think that you've learned what life has to offer or what your personal experience up till now has taught you. Approach each day like you know nothing. Be open to learning at every avenue. There's always something more to learn. There's always more from someone to learn from. Don't discount anybody. The homeless person on the street, they have a lot of lessons to teach people. Even if those lessons are, don't do this because you might end up here. I got lucky. I got lucky when I was living out of a car because I didn't let my mind slip into such despair that I let it overtake me. That's where dogs come into play. Dogs saved me from sliding into that dark pit of just hopelessness. Yeah, that's what happened. Is I came across rescue work, volunteering at rescues, and that became a little bit of a relief from the elements. You know, when it was, I'm in a car, living in a car. When it would get hot during the summer, rescue has air conditioning. It get cold during the winter, rescue's got a heater. Starts to rain, let's go to the rescue. I was there every single day at that rescue. Even if it was just for an hour or so, right? Just get clean, wash up in the bathroom real quick, and go on my way. That was the dogs. The dogs guided me. So now I return the favor. try to guide those. I don't think they need guidance, but if I learn something interesting, I certainly pass it on. I don't keep it to myself. That would be selfish. I don't like selfish people, so I try not to be selfish. That's how I conduct my life. What I don't like in others, I certainly try to avoid being myself. You have to be consciously aware of how your mind works and how your behavior is expressed. Otherwise, you run the risk of consciously becoming everything you hate. Or unconsciously becoming that would probably be a better way to put it. I had no idea. I had never have any idea what I'm going to talk about when I start these videos. I just start talking. Like I said before, I'm basically working on my ability to fill the air with my thoughts until the video ends. I don't know what this will turn into, but right now this is what it is. About to hit the road. All right, here we go. So yeah, I also woke up thinking about apprenticeship. The process of an apprentice. That's the student-master relationship. The apprentice is the student role. And I've always had I didn't come up with the saying. I heard it somewhere, but I think it's a beautiful saying to always keep in your mind. Always the student, never the master. Never assume you've mastered everything to the point where you can't learn anything more about it, because one day someone's going to come around and knock you for a loop with something that you didn't know. You didn't know. That's the worst part. When you don't know something. Because you think you know it all. That's your ego. You need to check your ego at the door. The ego is your worst enemy. There are moments where it could be your best friend, right? But those moments are few and far between. Normally they're life or death situations. All right, let's take, for example, not even life or death, but like say even in competition. All right, you want an ego. Like that Kobe Bryant, Mamba mentality, that Mike Tyson killer instinct, okay. But just remember, for every Mike Tyson, there's a Buster Douglas. There's that one guy out there that's gonna get you. So even then, be careful with your ego. Keep that little lion under control. Keep that pit bull on a leash. I hate to use pit bulls in that example. Pit bulls are the best dogs in the world. They get the worst reputation because their owners have allowed them to display behaviors that have given them a bad name. This is what I tell people when I teach people about dogs. Dogs are a mirror. They will reflect who they've been around and what they've been allowed to do. So if you have a pit bull and that dog likes to fight and bite and it's aggressive and dangerous, that's because that's what the owner has allowed it to become. The same dynamic with parents and their children. Same things. There's absolutely zero difference. Children are mirrors. They're showing you what they've been allowed to be because they've lacked guidance in their life. That goes for all of us, even adults. Adults can learn more. But if as an adult all you're doing is surrounding yourself with the same type of people that you are, then it's an echo chamber of behavior, thoughts, and actions. You have to move outside your comfort zone, move outside your social circles, and learn to be around different people. That's how you grow. So that's what I tell people with when it comes to dogs, because a lot of the dogs I used to work with had behavior issues. Oh, they've always been this way. Well, probably because you've always treated them a certain way, or you've allowed them to behave a certain way. A good trainer will break that cycle. And and show them something new, or deter that action from manifesting. All right? So that's how it goes when it comes to the student-master dynamic. You have to be open to suggestion in order to take instruction from a coach, from a teacher, from a quote-unquote master of their trade or skill. If you walk in with a know-it-all attitude, then there's nothing for a teacher to teach you. You know it all. You've peaked. I don't ever want to feel like I've peaked, because once you reach the peak is the top. Once you reach the top, there's nowhere to go but down. So be careful with wanting to reach that apex of development. Always the student, never the master, even if you're number one. Once you're number one, everybody starts coming for you. You get noticed. And then here comes the competition trying to knock you off that pedestal. So you always want to keep that edge. Once you get comfortable with being number one, you start to lose that edge. And that's when it happens. Get knocked down. And you don't know how it happened. The outsiders know how it happened. Why? Right? All the greats started to party a little bit too much. Athletes started to believe their own hype. From what I hear, I don't know how true this is, but from what I hear, Kobe Bryant wasn't like that. He didn't go out with the guys. He didn't party at the clubs. He was 100% dialed in and focused at all times. As far as I know, from the books I read and the commentary I've heard from his teammates, he was a different kind of fella. Seek to be different, right? Think different. Wasn't that Apple's slogan at one time? Apple computers? Think different. It's not bad to think the same. You could do that. But you're gonna get the same results. If that's what you want, go for it. It's cool. If there's somebody you absolutely want to emulate, think and do exactly as they did. That's a good thing. As long as what you're thinking and doing and emulating is a good thing. But also look for ways to improve upon that thinking and doing. Right? Ultimately, as a teacher, if you're a good teacher, you don't only want your students to learn what you've taught them, you want your students to surpass you. That's a good teacher. That is a master. You want your students to one day supplant you and take your seat. Because when it comes to like master apprentice or teacher student, especially way back in the day, masters were very picky with who they chose to be their students. They had to see something special or unique, something worthy in you for them to take the time to teach you. It takes time to cultivate a student. Imagine wasting all your time on a student that in the end just wasn't worthy. Masters want to get it right. That's how they became a master to begin with. Wanted to get it right. That's why it was so important for masters to take their time when it came to choosing a student. Whether it was like in martial arts or any kind of like warrior class, like swordsmanship. All these things take a very certain kind of mind to absorb the skills that a master has to dispense. So that's why I say be open. Be open at all times. I constantly have to put my ego in check. I have a gigantic ego, I know. I don't mean to have one. But if I hear something nowadays, I've cultivated the habit lately of just more recently in the last maybe 5 years. If I come across somebody who I maybe get the vibe that they know more than me, I'm constantly, ooh, tell me more about that. I want to learn. Teach me that. Teach me that. I do not have an ego when it comes back into slipping back into the world of the student dynamic. I'll become a student. I'm eager to learn. Show me. Like at work when I play ping pong, there's some guys there way better than me. Way better than me. When I started, my ego wants to say I was the best. When I started going down there to play, I was crushing everyone. I'd even have a shitty attitude about it. Next victim, I'd say. Not anymore. The group of guys down there, they all got real good. I knew that was going to happen. The more they play me, the better they're going to get. And then there's these other guys there, these Asian guys. The Asians are good. I love it. So the guys I used to play, I started going down there less. And they were playing the Asian guys more. Asian guys got them real good. So when I started going down there and playing, not beating anybody like I used to, which is good. Put my ego in check. So now when I go down there to play, I play to get better. I don't play to win. I want to be better than I was the last time I was down there. I'm my own opposition. I'm who I want to be. I think we all need to look at it that way. As soon as you wake up, okay, how can I build upon the me of yesterday? What can I add to my cup today to make it a little more full and a little bit more robust? Right? And at the end of the day, empty it all out. You're done. That day's in the books. Tomorrow is another day. And how do you beat you from yesterday? Right? Even if it's learning one thing new, learn a new word, right? Put your ego in check just a little bit more. Humble yourself every day. You are not the best. You are not the brightest. There's always somebody better and brighter than you. And they just might be the quiet one in the room, right? They're not going to be loud like me. I have a mouth. I probably didn't get enough attention as a kid. I don't know. But I'm learning to put that in check too. I don't like thinking I'm the best anymore. I look at myself when I slip into that attitude, and I don't like the way it looks. So that's a big part of my message for the morning. Always learn new skills. Always step out of your comfort zone. Always embody the student and be open to the whisperings of a master. Even if that master looks like somebody younger than you, or somebody more feeble than you, or anybody who you just might cast off as being unimportant, they just might have something to teach you. And you will miss the lesson. And that one small lesson might lead to the next lesson, and before you know it, your life is completely changed, and you didn't know. It was just that one comment that one person made that changed everything. And you thought it was nothing at the time. You might have thought it was an interesting comment. So that's how I try to approach it. I always try. Always make the effort. Almost out of the valley. Takes about half an hour to get to work. Be patient. That's another thing. Patience. Patience is a virtue. That's what they say, right? Try to minimize your vices and try to increase your virtues. The whole list of them. Can't think of any of them now, just patience. But there's a bunch of them. Humility, be humble, be patient. How about that? Those are the two virtues of the day for everyone to try to cultivate. The root word of humble is humility. When I first heard that word, I didn't understand what it was. Because the first word that came to mind when I heard it was like humiliation. Like to be humiliated. Well, to a certain degree, if you ever experience a moment of humiliation, you've just been humbled, right? Think about it. Here's an example. You think you're the best basketball player on earth, right? You beat everybody. And then one day this person walks in who you never played before, and they just crush you. That was humiliating. I thought it was the best. Nope. You have been humbled. So the best course of action is to always humble yourself. Don't leave yourself open to experiences where people have to do it for you. That is crushing. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you need to be humbled by somebody else. But if you are in the constant habit of humbling yourself, it's not so bad when somebody else does it. Because you're used to it. Right? Or at least put yourself in a position, purposely put yourself in a position to be humbled. Right? Purposely walk into scenarios where you're like, all right, I'm gonna get crushed. That's why, like, when it comes to competition sports, I love competing against people who are better than me. It's fun to win. I like to try to beat someone. I like the process of getting beat over and over again by somebody who I know is better. Because the loss doesn't hurt as much. You know they're better. They're supposed to beat you. But if I could beat them, ooh, that win feels so much better. That's how you know you've grown. And that's where the student-master dynamic comes back into play. Like at work. This one dude I play with against a lot. I was beating him so bad at the beginning. Now he beats me almost all the time. I love it. I absolutely love it. I tell him every time he hits a good shot, man, how's it going? That was a good one. Got me. I'm okay with that. I'll give it up. Give it up. What does it say? You giving them their flowers? Their congratulations? I like doing that. That's like the core of sportsmanship. I never liked people who talk shit during sports. Sorry, didn't mean to cuss. But those S talkers, they take all the joy out of competition. They completely forgot what competition's about. And those are the ones that fall from grace the hardest. The ones with that kind of attitude. When they fall, it's hard. But those are the ones that aren't used to getting humbled. Like me, when I was destroying everybody at that ping pong table, I knew it was only gonna last so long. I knew I was eventually gonna make everybody better. If not me, somebody else. A master always has to see it that way. That's a master's job. You're supposed to make your students better. How can they not one day get so good that they're gonna beat you? I think as a teacher or a coach or a master of a martial art, if your student doesn't eventually beat you, you have failed. Right? I mean, at the least, at least the student's supposed to be as good as the master. The competition is at least supposed to be a draw. But I think that'd be a beautiful thing. Like if you were a coach, like especially like let's just take martial arts for an example, because team sports is different. There's too many chess pieces in motion with team sports. But with martial arts, that's a one-on-one competition, right? Like boxing, any kind of martial art sport, combat sport. I think it must be absolutely beautiful. The heart of the coach must absolutely soar the day like a jiu-jitsu coach's student taps him out. Oh, I would cry out of joy if that was me. Like, oh, he got it. Oh, he finally got it. Because that would validate all your teaching. Like, I did it. He got all of it. Finally, he got it. That's how you're supposed to be as a coach. And I think just coaching and master apprentice, there's just too little of that mentality. Everybody wants to be the winner. And I get it, winning's fun. But there's something else out there that you should be trying to attain. And winning ain't it, right? Look at Charlie Sheen and all his winning. What did that get him? Where is he at today? Right? Who wants to emulate Charlie Sheen? Right? All these people that, aside from sports figures, I mean, for the most part, at least they're healthy. But all these like celebrities and all these other people that people look up to, behind closed doors, they have the worst habits. A bunch of alcoholics, drug addicts, and right, womanizers. I think that's why Andrew Tate became so popular. Yeah, he could be a bit of a arrogant guy, but he talks a lot about discipline. And he came from the world of combat sports. World champion kickboxer. That's what that dude was. Before he became an influencer, that dude knows exactly what it takes to become a world champion. And that's what he was telling young men. And that's why I think people didn't like him. Because he was championing young men in a world where everybody wants to cuck the men. He was turning them into little warriors. It was Hustlers University. That's what it means. Get on your grind. Get on your hustle. That's why people use those words. Right? Oh, this is a grind. Love the grind. Learn to love the grind. That's where the magic is. All that learning that you come in contact with on the grind, that's what puts you in a position to finally win. But like people like Charlie Sheen, alright, I mean, he's not the best actor in the world, but that's like how he's known as an actor. And how did he become an actor? Mainly because, well, alright, let's say nepotism. His family wasn't acting. He's not a bad looking guy, so that got him there too, but these were things he was born with and born into. He didn't have to earn that. He was born into the right family during the right time when there was very little competition, right? There wasn't all this social media flying around where everybody's being seen, right? There's no shortage of better looking people than Charlie Sheen. I'm sure there's no shortage of better actors than Charlie Sheen. Right? And then he happened to fall into a time where reality TV became popular. But again, he was already Charlie Sheen. You pluck some nobody out of nowhere and put him in a reality show, they're not all going to become Charlie Sheens. Right? How many Real Worlds or all those shows? Very little of those people went on to become any more than what they were known for on that reality show. You have to be an outlier, and you can't decide to be one. You could put yourself in a position where you start to gain the skills that set you apart. That's what an outlier is, really. Someone that's just set apart from the group just simply by being a little more unique or a little more diverse in a good way, not in a DEI way. I hate how they've mutilated that word. They've co-opted words for that DEI crap and completely mutated what those words mean. Diversity in the world of DEI is forced diversity. That's the part they leave out. We're going to make this group diverse. Not because it naturally is diverse. We're going to force diversity. That's not good. When it comes to a group, you want the best all the time. When it comes to a team, you want the best all the time. Imagine diversity in professional sports. No, we can't have only tall people in basketball. We have to have some short ones too. What? But this guy's better. Nope, too tall. Just ridiculous. Equity. You know, when I first heard the word equity, I only heard it in terms of like real estate. You know, I have this much equity in my home. I don't even know how they use that word when it comes to DEI. Equity? That means everybody gets like equal representation, but that's kind of diversity too. And inclusion. Well, everybody should be included. Why? You should be included if you earned it. DEI is the worst thing ever in life. It's all a facade. Especially when it comes to competitiveness. Right? Anybody want a DEI hire for the engineers putting rockets into space? Well, this guy's much better, but he's a white male. What we need is a black woman, or I don't know, an Asian midget. Who the hell knows? This is how they think, though. Too many of those. We need the best. We need too many of those. I don't get it. This is what we've come to. This is how soft the society's become in America. Our brains are at the mercy of it. Everybody's got to be represented. Everybody's got to be given a chance. Tough. You had a chance. Your whole life was a chance. You didn't focus like this guy did. Sorry. He gets the chance, not you. Just because you're underrepresented as a demographic. What does race or gender or all these insignificant traits have to do with the amount of ability that a position requires? That's just ridiculous. This is like backwards racism now. It's like racism all over again, but in a different form. It's like the inverted ideology of racism. It's like it encouraged racism or gender whatever. It's just I don't get it. What are you thinking? Makes no sense. We don't want the best anymore. We don't want the brightest anymore. We want the underrepresented demographic. What does that have to do with anything? This doesn't help. You don't think in the back of their mind they know the only reason they were put there for whatever reason is because they were black, or because they were a woman, or because they were transgender, or because I'd be pissed if somebody picked me because of that. I want to know that I was picked because I had the ability to land that spot. Mentally exhausting, having to deal with all this stuff. Like the company I work for, getting there right now, about to park. After before the pandemic, when I came back to this company, because I worked for them before, way back in the day. This was like 2000. I worked for this company from 2005 to 2007. Then I left to go do other things. Then I came back, long time later. And they had put up a gigantic wall sticker that said, "We do it right." When I saw that, I liked that. I was like, ooh, I like that. And everybody in the company, we signed that wall sticker. Everybody had their signature on that wall sticker. Kind of like taking a pledge. Yeah, we do it right. We don't cut corners. We don't make excuses. We don't make any exceptions. We do it right. So then the pandemic rolls around and the company let me go because I wasn't willing to take the jab. And then they rehired me a little bit later. So when I came back after I got rehired, that wall sticker was gone. And in my mind, I was like, okay, that kind of speaks deeply to this company. What happened to we do it right? What, we don't do it right anymore? That kind of concerned me. What are you gonna do? Not my decision. Or maybe it's this. Maybe somebody felt like a hypocrite for having that up there. Because what they did by firing people who didn't want to take a vaccine, that wasn't right. Maybe they couldn't make that claim anymore. Think about that. That's a good one. All right. Well, I've parked. What was the message for today? Empty your cup. Always a student, never the master. Humble yourself. Little less ego, little less pride. Be proud in spurts. Be proud for your accomplishments. Don't wallow in pride. How about that? All right. Let's go to work.